on? Oh, I'm live. Yeah, I'm not. My timing is off today. Hey, everybody, we're gonna play Puff the Magic Dragon. If you do not have the sheet music, you should go to jollyrogerukulele.com, and that's where I'm gonna go post our link for today. And we are here every single day at this time slot. If you are not already hanging out with us, you should because it's awesome. And we not only will turn you into a great ukulele player, but we'll turn you into a great musician, and you will be happy as a clam with your results here. I don't think I told that to open in a separate window, so I posted the link, but I need to go edit it. I think I missed a step. If I don't say the steps out loud, I goof them up. Click, edit, settings. Oh, I did. Okay, all right, so it should be fine. Okay. Update again. I think we need to do another Beatles week. That's what I think we're going to be doing next week. All right, Manette is in. Hey, Manette, Laurel. Got your Peter, Paul, and Mary on? I know. Some of you guys grew up at that era, right? And some of you were like, man, this is sweet, and this is my music, man. Cool, dude. Cool, bro. Brother. Oh, we didn't say bro back then. All right, that works fine. All right, so everybody will come piling in here in a minute. Puff Magic Dragon today. I think I hate this song, but I don't not. I hate this song until Puff's scales fall like rain. Then I'm like, ah, poor Puff. Yeah, so then I don't hate it so much. Super sad, right? Let's see. Linda, Windy, what? Vancouver's supposed to be perfect every day. My head, Vancouver is perfect every single day. It's 80 degrees, a little humid, sun. That's it. That's because every time I've been to Vancouver, it's been perfect. I understand that they also have 9 months of rain, but for me, in my head, Vancouver's perfect. One time we drove up to Seattle. My father-in-law lives in Seattle now, and we were up there in the summertime. Every time we've been to Seattle, it's usually around the holidays, and it's miserable. But we were up there in the summer one time. They got rhododendrons that just bloom, just grow in the medians on the highway. That's just what grows there. And you're like, well, I'm from Colorado, and we have nothing in our medians, not anything that lives. It's all dead. And it's the difference between a high plains desert and a lush tropical garden. And so, yeah, I'm rooting against the win up there, Linda. Linda's back. She just survived. She just survived Danny Boy, and now she's about to dive into Puff the Magic Dragon. I would say of the two, Puff the Magic Dragon's easier. How about that, level 1 people? Vic is in from rainy Eugene. Yay! We need Eugene to just be soaked in rain, right? We need all those fires put out, and we need it just be rain, rain, and rain. Pauline is in from California, right? Another place we need to rain. Cat. I hope you're happy and well, Cat. That's what I hope. Elizabeth, PPM, great trio. Great trio, right? PPM. That's what we're going to call them these days, right? The PPMs. Michelina, she's in for some. So she's been hanging out with the baritone player, so she's figured she's squeeze by and grab some Puff today. We're doing Puff in. Aren't we doing Puff? No, we're doing Danny Boy. Never mind. Valerie's here. A little more for the dragon. Puff and the Dragon. I'm from Colorado. We were the first to legalize marijuana, and we were the first to have our economy completely turned upside down from marijuana. And we now have houses that cost twice what they should, thanks to marijuana. Sandy is here. Welcome in, Sandy, Upper Michigan. And Jennifer. Oh, fire warning in Illinois. That's no good. We got those going on here too. We got some wind and dry conditions. We got no chance of rain anytime soon. So I understand, Jennifer. Let's see. Patty's in today. Clay is in. She's from Santa Rosa, California. Beautiful place up in that part of the woods. Diane is here. Happy sunny day in Colorado. We actually have perfect weather today. If the wind doesn't light anything on fire, we'll be in perfect shape. Elizabeth, hiking trails, Rocky Mountain. Oh, they're closed again today for the smoke. Yeah, there's a couple of fires going up near Rocky Mountain National Forest, and all the smoke's just blah. Yuck. Annie's in today. Hey, Annie. Gary and Diane in from Southern Washington. You probably guys are probably getting rained on a little bit too. Vicky in from Bozeman, ready for her PPM. Marianne in from Michigan. I know. Thanks for reminding Marianne. I'm gonna we have 3 Mariannes, and I'm gonna get all the Mariannes straightened out. One's from Parker, one's from Michigan, and I can't remember where the other one's from. Christine is in from Bozeman. Terry's in from Denver. Amy's here. Amy, delightful. All right, well, let's get going on this. Guys, this is not a tough song. Not a tough song. Getting it where you want to cry when Puff goes back into the cave, that's your goal, right? You want to make people weep with sadness because of poor Puff. And don't buy into the George Lucas style revisionist history on this. Jackie Paper's daughter didn't show up to save Puff later on. That didn't happen. Uke Noob, what the heck? Where you been, dude? Just passing by. We are in a family trip to Uruguay during October. Getting hard to log in, but I bring my uke, practice at night. That's what you should be doing, bud. It turns out that you can play your ukulele without an internet connection. I know, I'm freaking some of you out, but in my mind, because I am on the damn computer day and night now, it has turned out that the one thing I miss is playing ukulele, right? It's sitting down with myself or some other people and just pleeking away, right? All the time I'm just computer. Do yourself a favor once in a while. Just unplug. Just go sit out on the back patio, right? Take your harmonica, take your ukulele, take your guitar, whatever you happen to be into that day, and your 3-ring binder, and set it up on your knees, right? And just play. That's something else we got to do. Something I don't, because I'm always throwing new stuff at you, and you're like, I got to work on that. I got to work on this. Don't turn it into a thing, right? But once in a while, just unplug it. Just go play. Just play stuff you already know how to play. There you go. Q. Sitting in upper level uke problems. Where to get words for the 5th happy verse of Puff? You type in Puff the Magic Dragon into Google and hit return, and you will get, I promise, or Puff the Magic Dragon lyrics, and I promise the fake news of the 5th lyrics will appear. They actually did start doing them once this became a popular song. Keep trying to sign in for the membership box on the right home. What? Q, we'll work on that a little later. I don't have time to fix your technical challenge here. Send me an email, Q, and I will get you set up there. John, one is on an island. Oh yeah, right. You can make your own island out in the back. Let's see. Hey, Tom, outside of Atlanta. Well, Tom, we're just going to put you inside of Atlanta for convenience sake. We're going to consider you are a representative from Atlanta. Evelyn is in. She's from Ecuador. And Marianne, you should slow down a little. We can redo some songs. I may have to, guys. But not this year. Next week, I think we're going to have a Beatles Part 2 week. I've been doing some stuff for a private student, and I'm like, geez, no reason why he should get all the goods. And so I think I have enough for another week of Beatles, I think. And so I'm going to look through that. That's what's sort of on my mind right now. But yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with redoing stuff. And I absolutely know that. I also know you're ukulele players and you want more and more and more and more and more. And so you're not kidding me. I have hung around with you people before. Let's get going. We're 5 minutes over. Puff the Magic Dragon. The Peter, Paul, and Mary claim it's not about drugs, and so I'm willing to believe them. The fact that they added on the 5th verse, which was about Jackie Paper's daughter coming by to meet Puff, makes me believe that they're telling the truth. What we're really working on here, what we are working on as ukulele players, is playing this so smoothly and beautifully that people are moved by the song. Okay, let's run through our chords. C, Puff the Magic, and then to E minor. This was always my troubling one, is because you're here on your ring finger, and then you're going to go get your into second position to get your E minor on. Dragon, of course, shouldn't be a problem for you guys. Lived by the, back to C chords, C, and frolicked in the C chord, autumn mist. That's nice, right? You get the hard D7 in a land called Hana, and then this G7. Notice when seventh chords lead to seventh chords, they almost always sound super cool. So in a land called Honolulu. And then it's always, if you're in C, when you hit a G7, you're almost always going to resolve to C. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings. So that's different than the first earlier verse. We're going to add that G on to get some more energy into it. Brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. And then you got this big, that's the moment, right? That's that folk music moment. That's why you bought a guitar in the 70s. Oh, here we go. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. That's it. Okay, so there's not a ton to the chords there. One of the things we want to do, Tom's willing to accept being the representative from Atlanta. I think Tom might be at this point. You may be the representative from Georgia. I don't know if we've had anybody else in from Georgia. So you got to tell everybody in Georgia what's going on here. They're playing Puff the Magic Dragon for real. One of the things I do want to mention that I do all of the time that you never do probably, which is one strum per measure. We like to do Puff the Magic Dragon, live by the sea. Right? That's what you like to do because that's what you bought a ukulele for. When you bought your ukulele, that's what you imagine doing. Stop it, okay? Stop it. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. When you go to the strum along, that's how you play. It's great. But when you are learning a song and you're thinking about, hey, I got to get from this chord to this chord to this chord to this chord, one strum per measure is plenty. Puff the Magic. Now I'm thinking, how do I get to an E minor from a C? Oh, index. Got to rethink it all. Dragon. And then I'm thinking, oh, I've already got my index finger in good shape. Index and middle finger there. Just a nice jump up. Live by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a, oh, that's a tough one, land called Honolulu. So I almost never am pounding out a song right off the bat. I'm really sitting down and saying, all right, here are my chords. I want to make sure that they all make sense. I don't need to be a fancy singer. I don't need to turn this into an event yet. Okay. Until I make sure I know how my left hand's going to move. Now then, once I get that, then I want to fancy it up a little bit. Let's either, you can play this if you're feeling sensitive and beautiful. You can do this if you want to be a little more technical. You can add in this to get yourself super fancy, and you'll be amazed 100% of the time when this works. You're really glad you took the time to learn it. Puff the magic, puff the magic dragon, live by the sea. You're never going to be sorry that you did something like that. You're every single time it works, and it doesn't always work, but in this case, you're going to be like, oh, that is so nice, right? And for those of you guys that are singers, I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you work on those arpeggios in my arpeggio book, because that's what's going to separate you. That's what's going to make your using this as an accompaniment to your voice worth doing. If you are continuously puff the magic dragon, your audience is going to tire of that pretty quickly. They're going to be like, do something else with that ukulele. It's just getting in the way of your singing voice. But if you will bring an arpeggio into it, you can do it on every single song, and you will be like, oh, that's what we want to hear, because then it sounds like you're actually playing this as an instrumental thing, even though you're just playing the chords. But your right hand is bringing in this much more beautiful, much more lacy kind of feeling to the songs, and it's very rare when that doesn't work. It's my go-to for years and years and years. When I go to a sing-along or that type of, we're going to play a song in that style, man, I'm an arpeggio machine at that point, and it's very rare when you get a song that doesn't just offer you up like, oh, okay, let's do it that way. That's cool. Low G players, you also have an advantage in the sense that with this G string as a low string, a lot of times you can do a 4-finger arpeggio in a 4/4 time frame. You play it twice through, and it usually sounds pretty nice. Now, sometimes this doesn't give you the right root note, and then it sounds a little weird, and then you would go to the 3-finger one. Jennifer, okay, fine, let's move on. I'll practice my arpeggios. Probably, Jennifer, with your piano students, you probably said you need to practice your arpeggios, right? But again, this is going to, for those of you guys that like to sing, I'm promising you it's worth the time, even though it's a little harder to do. All right, melody. Here we go. You guys can do this. This is not a tough song. Does it do anything? It's in first position the whole way through. Oh, there is a 5. There's a 5 that shows up. But otherwise, you're playing in first position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Long one there, go. Okay, nothing there, right? Perfectly lovely melody, not hard to play at all. Got a few 5s that sneak in, but other than that, you're basically hanging out in first position. And so the melody is going to work good. And this is, again, those of you guys that are doing some teaching with your students, hand this out, right? The chords are almost all. There's a D7 in here, but outside of that, everything is a C minor chord or a C major chord. C major, E minor, F. There's a G in here, A minor. Everything else is in the key of C. The only thing that's not in the key of C is that D7. Okay, and that's usually one of those chords you run into relatively early anyway. So half of your crew have them play chords. Okay, the other half, they should be able to knock these melodies out without too much trouble. Those of you guys that know the song and you know that verse over verse, they adjust the number of syllables. So, for example, on measure, just looking at measure 1, puff the magic. Second time around is together they would. Third verse is a dragon lives for. And then the last one, his head was bent in sorrow. So each time you go through, if you're going to present it to an audience, they probably know the words, right? And so you would want to add an extra little pluck in there to get the number of syllables correct. The other thing is that because it changes from time to time, at measure 9, for example, little Jackie paper, that's a 8th note. But the second time you come through, it's probably quarter notes. Noble kings and princes. Probably switch those to quarter notes. One, and the third time through, one gray night, it probably an eighth note to start it, and then the fourth time through at verse 9, without his lifelong friend. So then you got two eighth notes. Friend, right? And it's one word, but it's still going to do that drop. So I could have put this on 4 pages and gotten all of the notes lined up perfectly, but you don't really need to do that. Just add or subtract as you need to, and adjust the rhythm to whatever you want it to be. People will follow along with you. I got it close. In some places, every verse was different, so I just ran it through with quarter notes. So let the song talk to you, and you decide what you want to do with that. All right, we've done the melody. Talked too much about chords. Let's knock out the tough uke. We'll walk through the whole thing, make sure everything's making sense to you. Nothing here should scare you. Finally, okay. 0003 to get started. Puff, and then the 3, and then another C chord. Magic. And you got a full E minor here at 2. Is so delightful when that happens. And then 3 strings. Make sure you're using your rest stroke. Your thumb actually has to stop and hang on to that first string, or it won't work right. Okay, got a full F chord at 3. Add your 3 for the pinky, like we've done a million times. Hit the 3 again, and then 003. Okay, hit the 3 again, and now you got an F chord at measure 5, but just 3 strings. Using that rest stroke. 1. I leave the F chord on and add my 3 here, so it's 203. Because you're just going to take your pinky or your ring finger right back off to get that 1 again. And measure 6, you got 3 zeros. Hit the 3. And now you have an A minor. I've been doing index finger on the 2 and then ring finger down here. Okay. If you want to use your middle finger up there like always, you can. It just seems a little harder than using your index finger. And a couple of 3s. And now you want to slide now, because I was using my ring finger, now I've created a mess, right? Because now I've got to pull this down, get rid of my ring finger and do that. So there is an argument to be said. If I'm going to use this, I would use my middle finger here. And then you could just drop your bar on. At measure 7, and then lift up. Oh, put your bar back down. Hit the 3. And then this famous high G7, I told you guys months ago, this coming up every week probably since then. 5, 5, and 7. Okay, 0, 5, 7, 5. That's the way you want to make that. That's going to come up again. So don't lose sleep over it. I promise we're going to be using that G7 all the time. Isn't that perfect? It's absolutely beautiful. 5, 7, 5. You guys have many of you guys have been with me long enough to know you'll see my secret, okay? Anytime there's a whole note, I'm going to hit that chord, and then I'm not changing anything on my left hand ever. I'm just going to hit some extra notes. Okay, in this case, it works pretty good to have that high 5. Sometimes I'll go back down to low 5, right? If I feel like it's going to compete with the melody, I'll go down rather than up higher. But that is a fingerstyle secret. Nothing has to change here. I'm not going to create any more dangerous situation for me as a player, but I'm going to help count the notes, help count that long note just with my fingers. I don't have to go 2, 3, 4 in my head. My fingers will take care of it for me. And then we go back into the song, right? Measure 9. E minor. Hit the 3. Okay, F chord. Add your pinky. 003. Hit the 3 again. F chord. 1. G chord. 1. That's a little awkward. Hit the 000. Regular D chord here first, because the melody goes down. It does the opposite of what we think it should. Okay, so you got a add the 3 on afterward, and then G7, fan, pinky on 5 here, C, and then C chord stuff. Our lovely G7. Okay. If you want, right? Don't do that. All right, here we go for Puff the Magic Dragon. 1, major 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we're going to repeat the whole song. Questions, comments, concerns? Because I think there's nothing else here. Just repeats what feels like 8 times. It's really 4 times. And if you are going to present this to a group, please don't play all 4 verses, because it really does feel like you're playing through it 8 times, and they will want to make you go away by the end of it. Now, I don't know if I have ever told you, there's a song out there called Train called Soul Sister. And when it came out, they also came out with a acoustic version where they had a guy playing a ukulele. I think it was their lead guitarist. And he, of course, retuned his ukulele so he could play it like a guitar. And then that kid that runs Train has this incredible voice. So he sang it, and they had an acoustic version with ukulele, and everybody loved it. And it was great, except that it was a really long song. And one time I had a little middle school girl come in to class, and she took my intro class, did a great job. And she came to me on night 5 and says, "Hey, next week for my solo, can I play Train Soul Sister?" And like an idiot, because she was a cute little middle school girl, I said, "Sure." And she came in and played it at about 60% of the speed, and she played every single verse, and it took about 7 minutes for her to play that song. And by the end, I said, I am never letting anybody play anything outside of the book ever again. I have learned my lesson from this little middle school girl. And so we all have new things to learn in ukulele. Mine was, don't ever let anybody play Train Soul Sister on the ukulele without and they can play 1 verse of it. Same thing with Puff the Magic Dragon. 1 verse, 2 verses is plenty, right? The first verse and the last verse. His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. That's hard to sing, but man, oh man, what a sad moment, right? Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. Blah blah blah. So anyway, super sad, the ending. All right, and if you want to cheer it up, go do the 5th verse. Q's googling right now trying to find that 5th verse. I'm not buying in. I'm not for it. All right. Valerie's like, no to Soul Sister. It was a big deal when it came out in the ukulele world. I had to learn it for a while. All right, Puff Magic Dragon, played through it twice. You pick your method. If you are on chords, you want to work on the chords, good for you. If you are on melody and you're still in that process of just getting where every note means something to you, play melody. If you are a tough euchre, let's do that. By the way, tough euchres who are sick of listening to Gary, okay? This is a fingerstyle arrangement waiting to happen. Whoops. Okay, so it's waiting for you. I didn't do a good job of it just now, but you've got an opportunity to play your 3rd string between every single note on here, with the exception of the eighth notes, right? But like puff, bum, 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 the mad bum, jig, bum, drag, bum, gun, bum, bum. So you've got your choice here. Those of you who've been around a while, you're like, yeah, tough uke, whatever. When we get to this kind of song where there's a lot easier chord structure and not a melody that's going all over everywhere, for you to bring your A game and to really put in all those extra notes in between notes. And that's where you're using your arpeggio skills, Jennifer, yet again. You're not singing this time, but you're using the tough uke, and then in between the stuff that's written down, you're adding in some arpeggiated chords in there. You don't need to change anything that's going on with your left hand. You just got to be a lot smarter with your finger choices on your right hand. This song I played through a couple of times before coming on the air because I wanted to make sure I was telling you the truth. It's set up for those of you who want to do a true fingerstyle arrangement of this. And so there you go. I think all the verses are necessary. Barbara says, nope, you have to do all the verses. You're wrong, Gary. Barbara, if I ever come to your house and we sit down, we have a cup of tea, and we talk about life, I will sit through all 4 verses of Puff the Magic Dragon from you. That's it. That's the only one. I offer that to Barb. That's it. Yeah, Barbara, I don't know. I think it does tell a lovely story, doesn't it? It's a really lovely story. The writer was Leonard Lipton, and apparently they worked out an arrangement with Leonard, so he wasn't sad. Puff the Magic Dragon, top to bottom, 2 times through. Barbara will do the other 2 on her own. Okay? From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, blew that measure. Good Lord. To the top. Last time through, Barbara. There we go. Oh, Barbara's like, oh yeah, I'll serve you some wine. You're going to need some wine for the other two verses. Um, really, really pleasant song. I like to make fun of folk music from the 70s. I don't know why. There's a certain things that I do that are just wrong. And one of those is making uh, well, really anything from the 60s and 70s. You poke a little fun at because but it's really a lovely tune, right? The melody's nice, the chords are not out of this world, and it just really it makes ukulele sound good. A lot of you guys have tackled this thing at strum-alongs, and again, we don't work on this here in this group necessarily, but that's a legitimate way to play ukulele. And so just playing it with dun, 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 drum, it can be a lot of fun. And especially if you get together with Barbara and her glass of wine, you can absolutely play that way. Everybody has a great time, and that's going to be amazing. Evelyn says, lovely. It is lovely. You bet, Evelyn. Tom, thanks for getting about the Magic Dragon. Really resonates with me. It's actually the first song I ever fingerpicked through the entire song, so I'm really enjoying this today. Yay! So I'm speaking to Tom, right? But the rest of you guys can absolutely take advantage of that situation. Slow it down. I'd already closed it. Are we playing Puff? When you are thinking, hey man, okay, I'm gonna fingerstyle this, right? Of your eighth notes, and you're going to be using your index and middle finger mostly to fill in, to do your fills. But if you take it really slow, you can go through and do that. The other thing you can do is hand write them in, right? Write them in when you're first learning fingerstyle, so that measure 1, that 0003, that C chord, is a dotted eighth note, or it's a dotted quarter note. So that's where we go to 3/8 notes. And so you're going to play chord, O, O, and then you got to hit the 3 because that's the fourth eighth note, and then you hit the full chord again, and then a single note after that, and then the 3 and a single note after that. So fingerstyle is something that most of you guys probably could pull off. Probably, if you've been working on your arpeggios, if you've got tough uke, it's making sense. This is a song, you slow it down, and you can really turn it into this beautiful piece. Now, with fingerstyle, most of the time, now the advanced fingerstyle players know, they play stuff at full speed, but for the most part, those of us in the real world, we're going to slow a piece down and really make it a beautiful musical experience. You can overdo the eighth notes to some extent. These days in guitar fingerstyle, their thing is they're whacking the sixth string to get some percussion sound in there, and that gets real old real fast. But in terms of making a decorative piece, all you're doing is adding in an arpeggio of this chord you're already holding, and just make sure that the melody notes, the notes you are plucking, are not higher than the melody note, because then it starts to obscure what's going on in the melody. And so that's how you would pull out a fingerstyle piece of that. So in the event that you guys are like, yep, this is the greatest piece of music I've ever had, please write me out a fingerstyle arrangement of that. We can do that, but I would rather, honestly, have you guys work on pick it out your own. Once you've got, sit down with the paper, hand write it out if you have to, or just work it out. And then, guys, never hesitate to grab your cell phone, play it in front of it. I'm playing in front of my cell phone right now, right? And it all gets recorded, the mistakes as well as the good stuff. And we have learned, right? Mistakes don't exist. Whatever, it's all in the past. And take a video of yourself from time to time to make sure that you study your progress. About 2-3 months ago, I was pushing pretty hard for you guys to put yourself on video. Wouldn't it be nice to have that video now? You can go back and look at, oh God, I was terrible back then. I'm doing pretty good now, right? And then you take this video, and 2-3 months from now, you make yourself another video, and you're like, God, I was terrible back there in October. But it's amazing the progress that you make in this style of music. Just by showing up, you'll get better, I promise. All right, let me take a. That's it. That's all I know today. Yeah, we're out early this week. The sheet music is not quite as intense as some of the other stuff. Remember, you're taking your arpeggio in E flat this week. We're getting pretty hot and deep into the book. When you get to E flat major, that's not a normal chord, normal key for ukulele players, but that piece there is going to teach you to respect the rests. And so do that, and then make sure to run through Harry Potter medley as many times as you can. That's another song you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I can play this. This is so exciting. So hopefully you're getting good. Hopefully you're happy. Send me emails if you want. Like I say, I do read all of the emails. I just don't necessarily have the ability to write all of you back. And so if you make it interesting, maybe I'll write you back. Don't ask me hard questions. I don't know the answers. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Let's see who's sneaking out of here. Jerry, oh, thank you. Welcome. Q. Credit for composition on music is Peter Yarrow. You mentioned Leonard Whiffisett. The guy that wrote the poem is Leonard Lipton. There at the top of your music, 1959. He wrote the poem. And then Peter Yarrow wrote the music. And then apparently, I think Peter Yarrow got in trouble because he didn't clear copyright. And so he and Leonard went to lunch and they came up with an agreement. And Leonard apparently is now okay with this being his words in their song. So I understand they got copyright straightened out or something. Probably Peter wrote him a check and he was like, cool, thanks a lot. And off he went. So word to the wise, if you're stealing other people's stuff and you turn it in and you're not successful with it, they don't probably care. But if you steal other people's stuff and then you turn it into a #1 hit or a significant hit, then they're going to come after you for a part of the pot. So first thought is just don't use other people's stuff, right? Create your own stuff. So many of you should be thinking, many of you are at this point are thinking, oh, I could write a song. You should. I can help you with that. I know a little bit about it. Linda, I'm beginning to like folk songs more. Don't follow that logic too far, Linda. The folk songs will turn you. Yeah, they are definitely earworms. And had I been a little more on the ball, I was kind of rushing this week. I would have figured out this is actually earworm week, and not necessarily folk music week. Earworm week is those songs that you just can't get out of your head. And we call it folk music, but really these songs in particular this week are just like, oh my God, I'm going to end up singing this stupid. You're going to end up singing. You're going to be going to bed and Puff the Magic Dragon is going to be in your head, and you'll be like, oh, Gary is ruining my life. So yeah, they are earworms. They're also beautiful, right? This is a really sad little tune with a really kind of happy feel to it, and those are the songs you love, right? Or I love them anyway. Tough Uke is very playable, Pauline mentions, and yeah, I do think this is a piece that you could really get a nice. Those of you guys that are just gearing up and getting into this whole chord melody arranging, it's a song that will really work for you. It is easier when you write it out. In the beginning, guys, I'm like, oh, you should just play it. You know, I will promise you, in the beginning, I wrote everything out, everything, and I often still do. I have my little pencil, and I just write all over my sheet music. When I'm getting a song up to speed and I'm wanting it to be a certain way, I absolutely write lots of stuff out. So don't feel like you're supposed to be able to do this in your head. Yeah, writing it out is super helpful. And especially the first few times you do it, if you write it out and then you're like, okay, I see how this works, then you don't necessarily have to write it out forever, but the first few times it would make sense. Michelina, have a great day. Vic, I'll see you later. Elizabeth, happy tunes. It is, well, it's not a happy tune, it's a sad tune, but it does have a happy ending if you do the fifth verse. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Still don't think it's about smoking weed, but I still think it's about smoking weed. Oh, well, Kat, anytime you'd like to come to Colorado, we're all set for you up here. No, I think it seems like it's about weed. I bet it was. I bet when he read it, he's like, that's about weed. But then it became a popular song, and a lot of school teachers were teaching it, and he's like, no, it's not about weed. It's not. Nope. See, this fifth verse, his daughter comes back to hang out with Puff. Come on. It's a kid's story. All right, Barbara. Thanks. Amy, good to see you. Lynn, see you tomorrow. Have a great day, Lynn. Manette, thanks again. You're welcome. Clay, good to see you, bud. Sandy, yeah, keep working on Harry Potter. That's exciting. Vicky, needed an easy one this week. I needed an easy week as well. And so I got two songs that I got to toss together tonight for you guys, but I needed a little bit easier week. Manette, maybe the 6th verse. Manette's like, you know what? We could force this to be about weed. You miss it. I mean, when you write, when I write it out. Oh, no. You should write it out, Red. You got the skills. I know what you're dealing with over there. Yeah, it's nicer when I write it out, right? It's nicer when I do your work. All right, I will write it out for you if you can't figure it out, but figure it out, then I don't have to. All right, kids, that's a long ending. Have a wonderful day. I'll see all of you mañana. See a few of you a little bit later on, and go out, be good, do good, keep practicing, do good, keep practicing. I'm missing something. Be safe, and keep showing up. Right? Okay. Just Google the weed verse. Laurel, be careful when you read Google, right? You can end up with, on Big Bang Theory, Sheldon is forever Googling things that he gets very weird results from. It's pretty funny. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I got to eat some lunch we're headed off to baritone class. Some of you should come. I'll talk to you later.